Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Revenge fans. Welcome back to Season 4, Episode 2, Disclosure. I am your host, Roxy Striar. I am not alongside Phil Svitek. He left us hanging this week. No, he's a very busy man with busy places to go. But lucky me that I am with two beautiful, wonderful, talented people across from me. Anna Koppel.
Hey, y'all.
And Christina Kaplan.
Hello.
I'm so happy to have you guys here.
We're happy to be with you.
Yes.
Well, thank you, thank you. Let's start with some overall thoughts on how this season, the first 2 episodes are going, and then specifically this episode. What are we feeling in general right now? I mean, David Clark is back, so
I don't know how to feel about that. I really don't.
I'm torn. I'm feeling really torn.
Yeah.
You know, I think it could make for an interesting season. And we're really setting ourselves up for something here. But I almost felt like tonight's episode was a finale. Mm-hmm. Like, it was the cliffhanger of seeing Emily burning in this building, you know? It seems like a closing episode, not episode 2.
Right, because you know that she's not obviously going to die in this episode. Otherwise,
that would be a twist.
The season would kind of be weird. But it was a strange ending, and then the previews for next season were even worse.
For next week.
It was like, for next week, it's like, okay, well,
I mean,
we saw her laying there in the fire, and yeah.
Yeah, those previews, though, I know we're so not there yet, but that's what we just watched, and we're coming off that fresh to here, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't great in the preview department, but that's okay. Like, sometimes they give away too much, or sometimes they confuse us, and so the fact that they just like didn't give us very much, I feel like is an okay thing.
Especially now our expectations are non-existent, actually.
Right.
Much,
so
yeah.
so it has to be beat somehow. Okay, so specifically David Clark being back. I know that you're saying you don't know how you feel. I'm not really sure how I feel. And the other person who doesn't know how they feel is Victoria. Or at least I don't know how Victoria's feeling. Did you guys get the sense from tonight's episode that she's trying to murder him? Or something of that? Or do you get the sense that she's still in love with him and wants to be with him? Or middle ground?
I think she's very confused. I think part of her definitely still loves him, but then the other part of her is just still so shocked that he's even back and still alive.
Right.
That I feel like she's kind of like, okay, well, he did kidnap me, so am I supposed to be trying to get free and get away from him, or am I supposed to be giving in to my feelings? And, you know, I think she's just torn, and she just doesn't really know what to do.
Okay.
I think a lot of things for Victoria.
I know you think a lot of things.
You'd be surprised, Roxy. It's actually not much.
No, I love hearing it.
But first of all, she's spent the last 20 years in a loveless marriage with Conrad, but you're supposed to be putting on this front like as though you're man and wife. And so I think she's very confused and jaded as to what it means to love somebody. She has this memory of loving David Clark, and maybe is confused about what that even means. So she's a jaded woman, and she's not the same woman she used to be when she was with him. So
she can join the panel of jaded women over here, but no,
that's not true. We're lovely, but
I agree. I think that's a really good point you make about her maybe not knowing what love is. But then you do have to think about, yes, she's been with Conrad, but she's also been with a few other people along the way. There was that artist that she loved, and he painted her, and she was with him. And then she was with Pascal, and she loved him, and she had loved him back when. So I don't know. When she says, David, you've always been the one, I'm kind of like,
it wasn't Pascal the one, was it? Yeah, they were all the one, yeah.
I mean, don't you guys have that friend who every time they date somebody, they're like, no, this is it. Yeah. This is it. You know, I feel like Victoria, or should I call her V,
yeah, I know,
is a little bit like that, except for with Conrad. who was clearly not the one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. The other thing is he just chloroformed her, you know.
normal.
Well, and maybe in her circle, but and then he takes her to like this underground lair where he tells her, "Oh, this is where I've spent the last 20 years." Listen, any man who tells you like I've spent the last 20 years underground,
you got to hear like the
right, like that is a crazy person.
Yes.
I don't know if you got this is like stay with me for a second, but I don't know if you guys watch American Dad, but there is an episode of this guy who got trapped underground. I just kept thinking about it, and he was like having sex with the dirt underground. I just kept thinking.
I don't even know about this show. Is this a real? Is this a?
It's a cartoon.
It's
Okay.
a Seth MacFarlane.
Okay.
But yeah, but I just kept thinking that like, what kind of creepy, crazy stuff has this guy been doing underground for the past 20 years? He's been living in a hole, literally.
And it's not like he went from the world to being underground. He went from the world to being in prison to being underground.
Right.
So it's kind of just like,
it just kept getting worse.
Yeah, it just kept getting worse. I'm curious what the actual answer to that question is. What has he been doing? We find out a little bit tonight. So he really was stabbed. We saw the scar, unless that was self-inflicted underground and part of his story. But no, we saw the tapes of him getting stabbed. I was wondering how they were going to get through that. I guess he did get stabbed. He did go to the doctors, and then he woke up underground, where he was for 20 years. Is that the story that we're getting right now?
Well, the story is that he blacked out from the pain, and when he came to, he was out.
When he came to, he was out. But was he there? Oh, she said, and you were brought here, and he said, the less you know, the better.
Right, which I felt like was sort of...
You gave a little sigh there. So why are you feeling like that?
Because I feel like unless they give us the story at some point, I'm so irritated by that. Because I feel
you don't think they will?
Well, that's what I'm, they better. They better, because as a viewer...
Hear that?
Yeah, hear that, revenge writers. That I need to know this. The less you know, the better. Like, it's just kind of like saying, just suspend your disbelief and be along for the ride, because David Clark is back and it's fun. No, I need this to be based in reality somewhat.
Especially if they're expecting us to ever like David Clark again. Because right now, he went from being this great guy that we loved, that we were on board fighting for, to somebody I really don't like.
I agree. His character so far is just so like, oh, well, I was here. And then it's so, like, almost cliche, like, secret hiding, the guy that's off in the shadows and is coming back. And, it's just, I can't decide what way he's going to go. Okay, is his MO to get back with Victoria and to bring her? That's what it seems like right now.
Right.
But it also seems like he's going to help her take down Emily Thorne, which he obviously doesn't know is really his daughter.
Right.
Well, and I like what you said just now, like his MO is to get back with Victoria, and he said that I would do anything for you, Victoria. But, like, why wouldn't he do anything for Amanda? Why wouldn't he do anything for Charlotte? Why is it just now that he hears him saying something crummy to Charlotte that, like, now's the moment to come out of hiding? And there's so many
questions. There's so many questions. I absolutely agree. At one point I wrote down, he's lost it. Like, literally, I mean, the guy's lost it. When he starts talking to Victoria saying, I would do anything for you, I was thinking those exact same things. So you would do anything for her. Did you come out now? You didn't know she was locked up in the hospital, we find out tonight. So why are you out now? Did you know she was in trouble? No, you must not have. You really didn't have contact with the outside world, because we did find out something tonight, which is that he didn't know that Emily is Amanda.
Right.
We talked about that last week. I actually think that you said, Christina, you said that you were like, oh, I don't think he knows. And I was like, oh, foolishness. Of course he knows. Obviously, Roxy's always wrong, just so wrong. But you said you called it. I mean, what made you think that, and what's going on now?
Well, I think Anna even said it too, like, okay, so he's been watching over her this whole time, and that didn't make sense. Like, why exactly, connecting to what we've just been talking about, is why now all of a sudden are you coming out? Obviously he didn't know that that was his real daughter when he was hiding there in the house and she came in. So I'm confused. And I think that if I know anything about this show, is that something crazy, some weird twists that we're not expecting at all might come to light as to why he's coming out now, or why, like, what really happened to him. And that hopefully will be revealed eventually, because, yeah, I'm same with you guys, that I'm kind of just confused and almost annoyed as to, like, okay, what, I don't understand.
The scariest part now, and the most manipulative part, is the fact that Victoria is now going to try to turn David against his own daughter by not revealing that it's his daughter.
Right.
And we know she knows because she confronted Emily this year about it. So we know she knows that she is Amanda Clark.
Well, she confronted her last year.
Last year about it at the grave when they were digging in the finale. So we know she knows. Now, if David finds out that Victoria actually knew, do we think that his love for his daughters is more than his love for Victoria and he'll never be able to forgive her? Or do we think he loves Victoria more than he loves his daughters and we'll just be like, eh?
Well, you know, Emily, real Amanda, has talked about how she felt like her father's love was sort of being taken away when Victoria entered the picture. So that was already an issue between them from the time she was a little girl.
She was also so young, though. You know, it's like when you get a new sibling and they come into the house and it's like, oh my God, the time's getting split. And they always talk about kids having those problems with that. So I feel like it was understandable that she felt like that then. It doesn't necessarily mean that in reality that's what was happening. Although it could.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But I wouldn't put it past Victoria, knowing who she is today, that perhaps she would be like a little bit controlling, like a little bit needy, just dominating of his time at least, and so I feel like, you know, kids are intuitive, and I think there's a way to enter into a relationship with somebody who has a kid and not have the child feel threatened in some way.
Right, right. There's a lot of I don't know whether to call them plot holes or just unanswered things right now, though, that I want to talk about. Number one being the fact that when David was in prison, he gave Nolan this infinity box to give to his daughter when she was out of juvie. Correct.
Right.
So he, and the whole thing about the no revenge. So he, at that point, had tabs on where his daughter was because he was still in prison. Now, at some point, he was stabbed and not murdered and brought to a box of a room in the hole in the ground or somewhere, and he learned that his daughter had died. So he was able to receive information from the outside world. His daughter didn't die, but he somehow caught wind that she did. So that's strange to me. How does he know that she died, but he couldn't communicate with anybody?
Right, who's giving him this message, or how is he getting the information, is what you're saying?
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And if he's hearing that, what else is he hearing? Is he hearing about when Charlotte had the drug problem for the first time? You know, there have been so many times that he could have come out. Did he hear about who he believed his daughter was having a child? You know, those are, I'm not even just talking about the bad moments, I'm also talking about the good moments. So
and he knew Jack Porter. They knew them as children, so did he hear about the wedding?
Right.
All of that stuff. It's just confusing.
Or did he not hear about any of this until he escaped, got out, ran away? I don't know what to call what he did, because I don't know whether if he was actually in hiding or if he was being captured or if he was just chilling. Like, I don't think he was just hanging out by his own free will. Maybe at some point, and if not, then how did he get away? Just very confusing to me. And then, how did he finagle this whole thing with Conrad? Like, that was when he decided he needed to get out? Oh, now I know Conrad's in prison. Okay, now it's time for me to come out of hiding.
And let's not forget the giant plot hole that he'll do anything to protect Victoria. Conrad's in prison. He's out of the picture. He's done. He's gone. So
for life. For
life. So why does he need to kill Conrad to protect Victoria?
And did he physically come out of whatever he was in just to do that?
You guys.
It's hard to say, because I'm sure at this point, even though we have spent 3 whole seasons rooting for him, rooting for him's the wrong word because he was dead. So just appreciating
being on his
him.
side, and he's been like a good guy in a sea full of bad guys.
We always said on the show there really are no good people, except for David Clark. You know, like he didn't do anything. Now he's a murderer. We were unsure if Conrad was actually dead. We thought he definitely was, especially based on the premiere this season. And then tonight we hear him say that he has killed Conrad. I'm so sorry for your loss, Anna.
You guys.
I'm just so sorry for your loss. You don't know how much she loved him. Conrad? It was her favorite character. She just loved him.
I don't know that Conrad was my favorite. I loved Henry Czerny. I just think he's such a phenomenal actor.
He is.
And I just think that he brought so much to each scene. And it's a big loss.
Right.
Can we have like an in memoriam for every episode that we do?
I know. But then, I mean, it just baffles me that he says to Victoria that he did this, and she says, "Thank you. Thank you." What are we missing? Like, I feel like I'm either missing something completely or the show is keeping us in the dark for a reason. And if they're keeping us in the dark for a reason, is it to build up suspense, or are they never going to fill it?
They have to. They have to fill it. There's no way, because there's too many plot holes, like we said. There's too many things that don't make sense right now for them to never connect the dots.
I'm getting a little nervous about it, though, and we'll talk about it when we get to news and gossip, but I don't know how much time they're going to have to fill all of these plot holes. And that is like, that could be the demise of this show if they don't answer all of the questions we have. If they successfully answer every question we have, then this show is the payout is so worth it, because the show is amazing, the acting is amazing, the intensity, everything. But right now I have so many questions that I'm worried aren't going to get answered.
Well, I feel like, I don't know if you guys agree with me on this season so far, we're 2 episodes in, and I feel like so much has happened compared to when you've been 2 episodes in the past. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. That's why I said it felt like a finale to me.
Yeah, there's almost like too much to keep track of. Like, okay, there's all this stuff happening with David and Victoria, and now Charlotte, all this stuff with Charlotte, and all this stuff with Daniel and Margot and Gideon and everyone, and we've only been into 2 episodes.
Do you think that's good, though? Do you like that it's jam-packed with stuff, or do you wish that they were taking it a little slower?
Well, I can't answer that just yet, because I need to see how it's actually going to all play out. Because in past with this show, well, I didn't start watching when it first aired. I had to catch up like when I think season 2 was starting. So I watched season 1 all in like 2 days because I was just hooked. And I felt like they were so, I've always thought this of the shows, they're so good at twisting things and making you be like, oh my God, I never saw that coming. Wait, oh my gosh. So that's why I think something crazy is going to unveil itself, and it's going to make more sense for us for these things that we're just not sure of, but I have no idea what it could be.
I agree. Stepping back for a second, what do we think about when David's saying to Victoria, I need you to tell me that you weren't a part of this kind of thing, and she says, it's true, David, I was scared, I didn't have a choice, whether even the part that was in her dream versus wasn't. Do we agree with that? Do we blame this on Conrad, or do you guys blame a lot of this, if not all of it, on Victoria?
No, Victoria was a huge part of it. And, Conrad can't threaten. If you go to the DA and you say this is what happened, there's not a lot Conrad can do to threaten your children after that.
Right. And people just listen. I mean, I don't remember Conrad threatening the kids. Did we not?
No, I don't remember that either.
I know that they've both used their kids in Monopoly before, for sure, but I don't remember a time, and maybe she's making it up, or maybe it actually happened and we never saw it, but I feel as if Victoria is equally responsible, and I've always felt that way, as Conrad is. And once David finds that out, and does David not know that? Because how much information was David getting? We don't know. Like, did he have a little radio that he sat by in his crazy little underground hole?
Well, again, I think we can look right. I mean, like, how's the Wi-Fi down there? We're not sure. But I think we can look at Victoria and who she is and use that as a predictor of what her actions may have been like. Yep. And she's never innocent in any of this. And you know, even if she didn't know, listen, we're going to throw this all on David Clark, even if she didn't know that was the plan going into it, she certainly had an opportunity to clear his name.
She went along with it.
Yeah.
She absolutely did. And yes, I don't think she initiated it, but she also didn't stop it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can all agree that she's the type of woman that whoever she's with, she's going to stand by her man for whatever's going on. Because she didn't ever really turn her back on Conrad till the end, though.
Oh my God, the end of that relationship.
They kept a lot of stuff that happened secret. Like, they didn't, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't go out and throw his name out.
Well, it's about how you look. You know, that they want to uphold this Hamptons lifestyle, whatever it is.
Right.
You know, yeah, exactly. So I think that it just kind of depends on how you look at it. But I do think she's very responsible. But I want to move on from Victoria and David because really only time will tell what's going on there. Let's talk about what I believe was the biggest part of tonight's episode, which is interesting because I don't feel like Charlotte is usually the biggest part of the episode, but Charlotte, she's got a lot going on tonight. All right, we start with her, and she's getting cheated on. Shocker of the year, Gideon's not a good dude, and he's not loyal to her. OMG, revenge.
And he's been using her and her money, which, we didn't see that coming.
Yeah, wow, when he asks for $7,000 in coke, I'm so surprised that he doesn't really love her.
But why is he using her money? That I did have a question about.
Like, why doesn't he have his own money,
Yeah.
you mean?
Because I didn't realize that they were struggling for money. That the Le Marchal,
Or maybe that's not the case. Maybe he does have money, but why wouldn't he use her if he sees it easy to use her money to buy his drugs, and then he uses his own money to do whatever else he wants.
He also gets to use her for sex.
Yeah.
Because she's hot, so it's not like he's using her for drugs and she's a troll and he hates hanging out with her. You know, it's like a win-win-win for him. But I do think that is telling us something that we haven't paid attention to quite yet, which is maybe Big Sis was paying for everything of his, and she wouldn't give the extra $7,000, whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't in charge of his own finances. Maybe he was too young. If you guys at home know more about their fiscal situation, because we might have missed a line at some point, hence why he has that accent from going to the American school, please let us know. As always, you can find us on iTunes. You can rate, comment, subscribe. We love that 5 stars. We read every single comment. And on YouTube, we read every comment there. We love you guys. You guys are the best fans ever. So keep on writing back to us. And if you know something we don't know, which is so not only possible, but I'm positive that it happens.
We missed stuff.
we do, because we're super fans also, but you guys are the best super fans, so let us know what you guys are thinking, and we will respond to you, of course. So, yeah, I don't know about his money situation. I do know that I am the least shocked ever that he was a bad guy cheating on her. Good for Charlotte with the little bitch slap that she gave.
I felt like even more good for her, yes. Check. But I feel like the sort of like layers of betrayal that came in that moment were just so awful. To like hear her dead father's voice in the hallway, it just, you know, and then in that moment that was so awful. Awful things that he said. Sorry. Bless you. I'm sorry.
Wait, let's just pause the show for a second.
I'm sorry, I could not hold that.
It's okay. Happens the best.
That those awful things that he said to her, that like to like rehear that again, you know, and then to hear all that Gideon's saying, like, can you believe this dumb hoe?
They're making fun of her.
Yeah. I mean, just like the layers of horrible that went into that moment were just, I mean, what a stab to the heart.
Absolutely. And I feel really bad for her because she has lost a lot, and she kind of was picking her relationship with Gideon over a lot of other relationships, thinking that he was the only one that she was like getting close with, when really he was the last one who gave a crap about her. And just the slime of him on the bed being like, baby, I do care about you, but you know, I'm not your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very cheesy line, but
What a
I was like,
scumbag.
oh, you're every dude out there that I just want to punch right in the face.
Yeah.
And Phil's sitting next to me in his head right now being like, we're not all like that. We're not all like that. Yes, you are. I know.
Yeah, she should have bypassed the girl and went straight to Gideon's face.
Yeah, but the girl did say, she's more pathetic than I thought.
Yeah,
I would have
that's true.
slapped a girl. So she gets cheated on. She calls her brother. And he says, and what about your rent check? And she's like, I cashed it. And he's like, okay, I can't deal with this right now. So then something about that combination of things, and also probably being a little strung out on cocaine or coming down from it because she doesn't have any more money to buy it, she decides she wants to.
Well, she had
a little. Yeah, she had a little vial. So yeah, being high on cocaine and also being really upset, she decides she wants to either kill herself or look like she's going to kill herself. Yes, we can agree that it was one of those two things standing on top of the building.
Yeah.
So we find her there next. Emily finds her, and oh man, I'm sorry, as I said, I'm a super fan of the show. This scene was difficult for me to watch at points. The music, it was so melodramatic, and I felt like it was such a great chance to just watch Krista B. Allen do her stuff. And, she's a great actress, and she's enough for me, and so is Emily Van Camp. They're enough on camera. And we had, like, the camera angles and no, don't do all that. And I was like, oh, God, just jump. No, I wasn't thinking that. I'm kidding. No, my God. I'm going to get the most hate comments ever for that. I'm absolutely kidding. Charlotte is a very entertaining character. Emily comes and kind of saves her. The cops come and really save her, one of them being Jack. It was a whole slew of things in this scene. Tell me one of you guys appreciated the scene more a little bit and thought that they did a great job.
Yeah, no.
Cricket. It was hard. I thought it was hard. I thought it was an important scene. But
yeah.
I like that they put it in.
You're right, though. The way that you put it earlier is that they were enough. They didn't need to cut to the low angle where her foot stepped over the gate. And, it could have been just simple shots going back and forth, showing them, Emily's trying to help her. Charlotte's struggling with all these, it was too, cheesy, you said.
And I think I would have preferred, sound effects of, whipping wind and stuff over the music. That was...
It was a lot. But I felt for him in the moment anyway. I really did. I feel really bad. I feel like, she doesn't see who she has left. Daniel rushes her off the phone, I can't deal with this right now. And we know that Emily really does have her back. But this point, she doesn't know it, and later on in the episode, she really doesn't know it. So Ben saves her. And we made so many references to him hurting his shoulder that I feel like that has to come up at some point down the line.
Yeah, they kind of beat us over the head with it.
Yeah. Go get it checked out. Oh, my shoulder, whatever it was. It didn't look to me like he fell that hard on her or on it.
Well, I mean, he did, do, a running tackle and collapse onto brick.
Right.
So.
Proper football technique, lead with the shoulder. Just gotta put that in there.
A little plug for her Hard Knocks and Monday Night Football shows right there. Love that you know the proper thing. Great. So we see that, and then we see, just sticking with her character right now, Charlotte is getting taken by Jack, and she's like, oh, well, I'm getting kidnapped again. She keeps making those comments.
All I need is the blindfold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keeps making those comments, and then he's like, the only person in the world you need to talk to is this girl. Trust me. I would have been like, I don't trust you. Peace. But she does stay there, and Emily says some very, very revealing facts. Number one, that she's Amanda, which means number two, she's the sister, and number three, that she kidnapped her.
Yeah.
Not in that order, but those are the things that she reveals. What? We've been waiting 4 seasons now for this.
Yeah.
I was not expecting this to come episode 2 of this. What? I mean, were you guys blown away by this moment? I thought that maybe it was going to be a dream sequence based on the last week's preview.
And I thought after everything that we just talked about, everything that Charlotte had dealt with, to then throw that major detail on her as well, how did you expect her to react? You know, it made sense to me that she was angry and, you know, kind of just didn't even really know how to process it because of everything that she had just dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the smarter move would have been to let her go into a 72-hour hold, let her detox a little bit from that cocaine.
You can't drop something like that on somebody who's, you know, is high on cocaine. Like,
yeah.
It's a very selfish thing to do at that moment, I feel.
And extremely mentally unstable.
Right.
Yeah. I think the reason why she did the kidnap reveal was to clear Jack in Charlotte's mind.
Right. She said, I can't stand to watch you this upset about it. I would have liked to hear what she said to justify the kidnapping.
Yeah.
It was kind of more like we missed the actual conversation that they had, which was the part that I was really looking forward to. But we do see the aftermath, which is that Charlotte feels no love here. She's not, and whatever, and we get hit over the head again with the, you chose revenge over me. Spoiler alert, that's the title of the show. No, I'm kidding.
But this is the title, and you're saying the thing.
No, baffling. So we find out that Emily thought this was a genius plan. I can't believe Jack and Nolan both were like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, usually Emily's impulsive, and then her trusted team are like, whoa, 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 step back. The fact that Jack believed this was the right move, I was kind of surprised.
I'm not surprised that Jack thought that. No, because Jack is like, you know, the straight and narrow, like, honesty is the right way. And, you know, so I think he really thought, like, yeah, just be honest with her and everything's going to be okay.
Right. Maybe, but I think that even if he thought she was going to react poorly, nobody ever predicted how poorly she would react, which is to try to, instead of kill herself, kill her sister. What? She brings Emily to the stowaway.
How does she keep getting into the stowaway?
She has keys, whatever. She from Declan still. She brings Emma and please, dear God, the stowaway, change your locks. Like,
yeah.
You already had her kidnap your child, Jack. Like, change your locks. And there's also been people who have died there and whatever. Anyway, she brings Emily there, and she's written Emily this very long note. Emily starts reading the note. She looked happy with it, or like emotionally moved.
I thought she looked like shocked, like it was saying that it seemed like she was reading stuff that she was not sure, like she wasn't expecting to see.
Yeah, she wasn't expecting to see. That's why I thought it was along the lines of like, I needed a minute. I really do care. Like, she wasn't expecting her to be, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know what the note said, because the note was a load of crap anyway. The only reason the note was written was so that Charlotte could whack her with a 2x4 and burn down the stowaway. So not only is she trying to murder her sister, but she's trying to burn down Jack's business and home.
Also, when is the stowaway open? I feel like...
And the mini Jacks.
Yeah, and
Carl.
where's the baby?
Yeah, we never know where baby Carl is, and we never know when the stowaway is open.
Because they cut to Jack and he's still at work right after that scene, or right before, whichever, you know.
Well, he said
What was your question? What did you say?
Why isn't the stowaway? We never see the stowaway open anymore.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's just they're like either cleaning up during the day or they're closed at night. So when are they open?
Yeah, a bar that's closed at
runs it?
night, I feel as if isn't doing its job particularly well.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're gonna have to inquire about this, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's just go there and see what times we can get a drink and what times we can't. I mean, that seems to be the only solution.
Because Jack said last episode, it runs itself now. Like, oh.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Maybe that means boss isn't around, so they close up early and open late.
What part of Charlotte doing this do we think this show is going to pin on her being on coke? the reason I ask is because I really hope not much. Like, if they're just like, the only reason she did any of this was cocaine, you know? She has such deep-rooted issues, and I feel like this is such an easy solution for them to just be like, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. This is what will happen. You'll try to kill yourself and others. Like, I feel we always are making excuses for Charlotte, and we never are actually getting to the fact that her dad wasn't her actual dad. David Clark was her dad. He was framed by the dad that raised her, who then went to prison and is now dead, and her boyfriend that she loved, and when she was pregnant with his child, and the child died, and the boyfriend died. Like, these are real issues, and she's kind of a mess to a kid, and I don't know. Do you guys get what I'm saying at all?
I completely get what you're saying, and the thing is, like, happy people don't do drugs. They just don't. Like, they don't, like, I mean, they might, like, experiment, but they don't become addicts. And, you know, I feel like they did that the first time she was on drugs. That, you know, that everything was because she was on drugs, or, like, well, remember when she was on drugs, you know, like, Charlotte, like, can we be okay with, like, is she an okay person? Like, yeah, she's fine now. Like, but remember when she was on drugs and she wasn't fine? Like, yeah, they could easily do that again. I feel like they could so easily go down that path. And I know what you're saying. Like, yeah, can we address the fact that, like, she's been an unhappy girl her entire life? And,
the entire time we've known her.
yeah.
Seriously.
Well, before then, I'm sure.
I mean, for 3.5 years, but I'm guessing for more than that. You're right. I want us to finally. I love that we were getting into Charlotte's character, that we're seeing more of Charlotte, but I want us to get to the bottom of who Charlotte is and what's going on. Like, we see Victoria in therapy. Let's sit in on one of Charlotte's therapy sessions.
Yeah, is she ever going to evolve out of this kind of reckless, I'm so messed up, my life was so messed up character? Is she ever going to, like, get out of that whole phase? You know what I mean? I think that's the big question.
Also, now that Jack is a cop, is just this whole situation, are they going to find out it was her? If they do, is she going to be in trouble? Is she going to jail? I mean, I'm pretty sure this is cause to go to jail. And by pretty sure, I mean very positive.
Right.
Is that why earlier in the season we hear Ben say, I'll give you one exemption or something like that. Like, you get one free pass, and that's it. One. They nailed that over to one. So was that it? And then this time it's not, and then Jack has to hide from his partner, and then Jack has to quit the force, and all of those things. I mean, I guess we can just talk about Jack now.
No, I feel like...
and what's going on with him.
No, but I feel like, I mean, Jack's going to come into play here in a big way, even if somehow he's not connected to what happened, with Charlotte's not connected to what happened. Like, doesn't he have to quit the force, kind of, to, like, stay at the stowaway and see it repaired? And does he have enough insurance?
Or is this goodbye stowaway?
Maybe. Where's he going to live? Just collect the insurance money and get out of there?
And buy a little house for him and Carl.
Or move in with Emily.
Oh, I would like that.
I know you would.
No, I just think that's like a cute, I don't know, like Three's Company or something.
No, it's a really bad, that's so bad though, because it just shows that the only time that their relationship progresses is when they're out of options and their hands are forced. Like, oh, well, I guess it didn't work out with Daniel or with Aiden, so I guess I'll like Jack now. Oh, Jack has nowhere else to live, so maybe I'll ask him to move in with me. Like, no, one day she needs to choose him. It's got to be a choice, and we're not seeing that choice. So I don't know if this is goodbye stowaway. I don't know how quickly that fire gets put out. The guy that asked Charlotte, he's like, oh, are you okay? Is there anybody else in there? He seemed very unconcerned. He, like, walked away. I'd be like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
No, just like, anybody else in there? No. Oh, okay, peace. This entire place is up in flames.
Yeah.
Like, call 911, do something. So that was interesting to me. But going back, so we're talking about Jack, we're talking about Ben, and I'm curious about this whole, we gave it in News and Gossip last week about Emily and Ben potentially being a little showmance. So we hear Ben tonight say, it doesn't hurt to look like a hero in front of a beautiful woman. And Jack very quickly tries to shut that down. All right. right, Christina, who doesn't want Jack to end up with Emily and is just like a hater of love.
That is not true.
I don't think that's true.
I'm just kidding. But you did say you prefer her to be with Ben. So, what did you think about this moment?
I think that this is, I don't know. I feel like either it's going to happen, he's going to ask her out, and maybe something will start to develop, or he's going to continue to make mention of her, and Jack's going to continue to shut it down until he makes his own move.
Right.
It could go either way, I think.
Okay, so in the end, you think that maybe he'll jump on it because he'll realize he keeps shutting it down until he makes his own move.
Yeah.
Okay, or the other way. What are you thinking?
Well, I don't know. It's just going to cause dissension between the two of them, one way or the other.
The partnership's going to have to break up.
Yeah, I mean, either he's going to, like, keep trying to shut it down, and Ben's going to be like, yo, like, why you stepping? Come on, you know, like.
Wait, can you just do it one more time?
Yeah, yo, why you stepping? Come on.
Good point.
And I know, I try to make excellent points every time I'm on a panel.
You have a lot to say, and we love it. Yo, why you stepping?
Not a lot up here, a lot coming out of here.
So not true.
And then, thanks, Roxy. And or Jack will make his own move, and Ben's gonna be like, yo, so all that time. Either way, a lot of yo's are gonna be coming out of his mouth, but it's just not gonna go well between the two of them.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's either going the end of the partnership. First of all, Ben may die. I'll save that for predictions, but we bring characters on to kill them all of the time, so it might not go any of these ways because he might just die, and who knows how soon. But the other thing is, if it's not because of Emily, it's because of Charlotte that they break up with the partnership. And if it's not because of Charlotte, it's because of Victoria. And if it's not because of Victoria, it's going to be because of David. You know, like, there are just so many problems with a cop being involved in this mess now. Like, how Jack could think it was a good idea. Oh, you know what? Like, now we're free and clear of all this drama. No, honey, it's never going to happen. So I hope that he doesn't end up in jail himself, and that his partner turns the other way and is just like, listen, we can't be involved anymore, and you can't be a police officer. But who knows if that will be the case. I guess we will have to keep watching for them. The last storyline of the night that I want to talk about, which was another cocaine storyline. We're just all cocaine all night tonight, which is why we're later and sexier than ever. No. Oh, God. Is she still talking? So Daniel, Margot, and Gideon. So Daniel and Margot are really a team now. They're our villains. They're our new duo villain team. Is that true?
Well, I'm going to say yes and no. Because yes, they are kind of in that villainous role, but no, because they are taking down an even worse villain.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So it's almost like, it depends.
They're the lesser of two evils.
Right, exactly. So if they start going after people that, you know, don't deserve, I guess, to be taken down, then that's when we can be like, all right, they're not good.
I don't know that Gideon's a worse villain. You know, a lot of people do a lot of bad things to each other on the show, evil even, but I literally got the chills. I had goosebumps when Gideon was arrested at the airport, because what kind of sister?
What kind of sister?
Plants drugs on her brother.
What kind of a brother says he's going to kill her?
Right. He threatened to kill her, so I think I would do that to my brother if he said he was going to kill me.
Okay,
I would definitely.
I'm going to let him know that.
You can let him know. I think he knows that I would not hesitate.
Threatening to do and doing.
But he did, like, push her face, too. He was like, I'm going to kill you, and, like really grabbed her face. The whole situation here was so conniving and twisted. I mean, you guys watched the episode, you know. There was so many turns to it, and then Margot pretended to be on Gideon's side, and she didn't, and it was back and forth so much. It's very interesting to me, though, how isolated this is from anything else on the show right now. You know, all the other situations kind of intermingle. This one is very isolated. Like you're saying, they're taking it down somebody we don't really care about if they take them down. You know, if they were going after Emily or somebody else, we would be like, oh, these are really the bad guys. But right now, it's really its own storyline, and I'm wondering how. Oh, you guys made fun of me for this last week. What is it, La LaMarshall, how it's gonna intertwine at some point.
Well, I think that's what Margot is trying to do by taking him down, is to protect the company, because obviously we saw him stepping forward.
No, absolutely. I'm just wondering how that's gonna involve itself with any of the other storylines.
Well, maybe Daniel's gonna get back in. Well, we saw them make out at the end of the episode, so I don't know where that's going to lead.
Damn right we did.
You know? So
that's got some fire to it.
Well, it kind of intertwines in that, you know, Gideon being out of the picture helped Charlotte in a way, you know, so that sort of intertwines, sort of.
The last thing I have to say on that is the haircut. I know we mentioned it last week. Come on, team.
Well, it turns out, though.
Oh, yeah. Let's get to news and gossip. This is news and gossip. You have an AfterBuzz exclusive for us.
Yeah.
AfterBuzz
All right,
TV
hit us,
News.
girl.
Okay, well, we've had Nick Wexler in the studio with us, and one of our AfterBuzz TV hosts, Will Link, who I host Intruders with, shameless plug, is real life friends with him, and so Nick was telling Will, you guys, this is like real inside exclusive, that all of those haircuts are their own choices.
The TV show did not make any of them, so not Nolan, not Jack, and not Margot.
They all
do that.
Yeah,
they all did it.
They all did it on their own.
So I think Nolan's is the worst out of all of them, though. Honestly, I think his is way worse than Margot's, because he just looks psychotic.
Yeah,
with
crazy.
the outfits, and then the hair on top of it. He just looks. I can't even take him seriously anymore.
I agree. So I love that inside scoop that you got for us. Keep them coming. The other thing that we have noticed is the fact that we are down in viewings right now. We got a little over 5 million for the premiere. We'll see what we got for tonight's episode. But people are talking about whether we're going to get a season after the season. People are thinking that this is going to be the last season, which is why I was really worried that we're not going to get all our questions answered, because holy crap, if this is the last season, they have so much to do.
Yeah.
I honestly think if it is the last season, it could be the best season. It could be the most kick-butt season. That's not me necessarily saying I want it to be, because you guys know I love these shows, and I hope they go on forever and ever until whatever, run themselves into the ground. But it could make for the best season.
And maybe that's why they've jammed so much in these first 2 episodes, is because they've got so much to get into this season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is our news and gossip for this week. Some pretty good stuff going on. Let us know what you guys are thinking. If you are thinking, oh, wow, I want there to be more seasons, or great, this would be a great last one. Again, iTunes, YouTube, rate, comment, subscribe. We will write back to you. Absolutely. Let's quickly get into some predictions if we have any, and then we will wrap it up.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
We really can't predict anything based on what we saw. Victoria has a shotgun. That's pretty much all I got.
Yeah.
She looked like sort of like Appalachian Mountain sort of shotgun on the porch. I know it was weird. But I have sort of a long-term prediction, and that is that Victoria trying to get David against Emily Thorne will really come back at her, because Nolan knows what David Clark looks like recently. David knows what Nolan looks like as an adult.
Not with this hair, he doesn't.
No, fair enough. But they have to run into each other at some point. You know, Jack's running around as a cop, you know, Officer Porter, you know, they may run into each other. He's known Jack since he was a child. I think there are too many opportunities for him to find out that she's really Amanda Clark.
Especially because David wants to go see Charlotte. It's not like he's trying to hide in that hole anymore.
Charlotte, who also knows she's really Amanda Clark.
I agree with you. I think that it's going to be the demise of their relationship. I think that David's going to find out Victoria knew it's his daughter, and that will be where David and Victoria finally end.
I agree with that, too.
Okay, those are our predictions for the week, because, guys, Revenge, you're giving us nothing to go on.
Yeah.
I guess now we're just going to have to stay tuned. Not that we wouldn't anyway. If we are dying to talk to you guys throughout the week, and we have so much to say about Revenge, as I hope you guys do, where can we find you?
You can find me at Instagram or Twitter at Tina Cap.
You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR.
Awesome, and you can find me, as always, at Roxy Striar, and you can find us at AfterBuzz TV, and we love to interact with you guys, so please keep the conversation going. Otherwise, we just won't be able to make it to Sundays. Until next week.
This is dramatic as revenge.
Goodbye, sis.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not
as we do that
necessarily
show,
reflect the
I'm
views of
just thinking
AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.